Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And this is Martin. Welcome, everybody.
I'm Ricardo. What's his name?
See,
Ricardo.
We have
Ricardo.
a friend of the show.
When I'm happy
Yes,
and he's
yes.
being nice, I call him Ricardo.
When I'm being nice, on those rare occasions when I'm not being a complete ass.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We love
Cheers.
Richard. Richard Betts. The
I am-
professional
I am
wino.
Richard Betts. the
Professional
Professional
wino.
wino. Professional wino.
Mind the spelling, W-I-N-E-A-U-X.
And wine
Wait, we had to spell it?
W-I-N-E-A-U-X.
Really?
Oh yes, en français, Wineaux. It's
En
much more
français.
sophisticated. Please.
Très bien.
I did not know
I'm not a
that.
common wino. I'm a professional wino.
Professional.
Well, tell us what we are going to be tasting today.
Well,
We're super
this
excited.
is our third
Summer sippers?
installment of Sexy Summer Sippers.
Puffer and pucker.
Yeah.
Summer sippers.
Yeah, and
Sexy summer sippers? Because I thought we had a different word before, but did we nix that word?
I think so.
Okay, sexy
I
summer
think
sippers.
so. So,
So, Owen, when you're
yeah,
on a
it's,
date,
it's a little more,
Yeah.
we need you a little closer to the wine.
a little more
I mean,
polite.
wine.
So,
Yeah.
Get closer to the wine.
Closer to the wine.
Yes, Kinga.
Kinga's mine.
Oh, that's my first sip, and I'm not buzzed. I meant the mic.
Oh yeah.
Those
Dos
are my-
Hermanas 2021 Laramita Cellars.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this
so
delicious
once
thing.
again, we are exploring the marvelous wines of Arizona.
And that's sustainable
Which is-
because when you support local,
Yes,
you're saving the
yes.
planet.
One
One
shot
shot
at a
Wine
time.
at a
time.
But this does not look like an Arizona wine. It doesn't smell like an Arizona.
What do you mean it doesn't look like an Arizona wine?
No, I mean the
I taste
bottle. I mean,
Arizona.
it's just it's just another level. I think.
But it's sexy.
It is sexy.
It's sexy and
is.
it tastes so
Yeah.
luscious. The word
Yeah,
is luscious.
Yeah. Well, here, let me tell you a little bit about this wine.
Okay.
So this
Tell us,
is
tell us.
Laramita Cellars. Greg Gonerman is the owner winemaker. I've known him for years. He's a guy who's.
How old is this guy?
Well, I think he's maybe 50.
Is he single?
I'm not sure.
Well,
Boy, you're interested. You like his wine? That's a start.
I've always wanted a wine called Kinga, so and that will happen.
It will happen.
So I either
yeah.
have to buy my own winery
Yeah.
and start planting the grapes,
Yeah.
Or you got to
start
sleep with a
dating it.
winemaker.
Yeah, That's probably easier.
And if you want songs written about you, you've got to start sleeping with like lead guitarists and stuff. Then you break their heart, and then they'll write a song about you, like Taylor Swift.
Owen?
Oh yeah.
A one, a two.
Okay.
So
This is really the reason I said that earlier is
Yeah,
this is
thank you.
not like an Arizona wine I've had before. It's not like a California wine. It's very different.
Well, Arizona wines are very different. You know, of course, the concept of terroir,
Mhm.
which is place where the grapes are grown.
I thought it's the ground. I thought it's the
It's
soil.
well, it's
Terroir.
it's everything.
It's the same thing.
in the place. The
Okay.
soil, the weather, all kinds of details about that place. And
Environmental.
Environmental is a total
Oh.
environment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, the
And of course
the
it-
height, the altitude,
Yeah, all that,
stuff
and it
is-
changes every year.
Mhm.
There's differences.
And the
every year.
rain.
Yeah, all the weather.
The topography. Do we use that word,
yes,
topography?
Absolutely.
So wait, we need to define who you are. You are the wino. We already said that, but people need to know that you have been a wine judge. You're in wine books.
I have
you're-
been in
he's
a,
very
wi-
famous
in
with
a
the wine.
wine book. I have been a judge over the years several times.
Mm-hmm. He's
My-
very
I go
humble.
my experience in the wine industry goes back quite a way, back to 1974
Mhm.
when I worked the crush at the Louis Martini Winery in Napa, in St. Helena,
Big
Napa,
deal.
California.
Wow.
And let me tell you,
Mhm.
things were a little bit different back in 1974. In fact, a lot different.
How?
Well, the style of wines they made, and
Mhm.
of course, it was a well-known place, a popular place. But this was before the Taste of Paris in 1976, where that Englishman who owned a wine store in Paris set up this whole Taste of Paris, where he brought over these wineries from Napa and tasted them against French wines a blind tasting with French judges, and the California wines came out on top.
Wow.
And that's because they were made just like they were made. Back then they were making these wines. This is before, they started producing cocktail wines. But anyway, this was 1974. Now the good news is, I was only 12 years old at the time, but they didn't have child labor laws in California then.
Oh.
So I was able,
Wow,
one
that's
moment,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
So I was
Wow.
able to work at only 12 years old in 1974.
You started
Really?
working at 12 in a winery?
What would you do?
I think he's pulling
I think he's
somebody's
making
leg.
it up.
What kind of wait, no, what kind of
Well, maybe I
This
was-
is how we'll know. This is how we'll know. He has to describe what he did.
Okay,
What did
there
you
you
do?
go.
So,
There you
okay,
go.
that's a good question
there you go.
because
Despite how old you were.
Yeah,
What were your
when
responsibilities?
you
What did
work
you learn?
in the cellar, the fermenting room, the fermenting cellar, I was a shoveler. That was my title. So I would get in the tanks after the grapes had been fermented. Red grapes in particular would leave, because the red grapes are fermented in contact with the skins and pulp and seeds and everything, and stems in some cases. And so once that wine is drained off the tank, and some of these were open bank cement tanks, open top, the old style, and some of them were more, large stainless steel tanks with a hatch.
I know what you did. You got in there and you jumped on the grapes like in.
No, that's
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't do
I know
that.
you did that.
I did not do that. That's before fermentation. That's
Okay.
Right, that's
crushing the
crush,
grapes.
yes.
This is shoveling out that pumice, what they call pumice, what's left of that moist mass of pumice, into a bin, taking it with a forklift and dumping it in the press. So there's a final press. So that's, they use that to make maybe some bulk wine, or they might sell it off for industrial alcohol, but that's the final press. What's left over when the juice is pumped out, and then you have this moist mass, and they take the juice from that too. Then the moist mass, the rest of that stuff, it goes to fertilize the vineyards.
So you were actually creating wine
Well, I was
in your youth.
That's very
Yeah,
sustainable.
well,
That is
I
very
wasn't creative, but I was a part of it. But here's the thing: it gave me an insight into the winemaking process, and that was fascinating to me. I'm telling you, working that job in 1974 is what ignited my passion for wine. Now, I'd had wine
That's
before,
Well, being a wine judge, I want you to judge the wine.
I'm not judging anything.
I want you to
I'm
judge.
very non-judgmental. Let me tell you about this wine. I like
want you
this
to judge
wine.
it. I love it.
I
love it.
definitely like this.
First
Yeah.
of all,
It's actually very good.
when we talk about the Rhone varietals in red wine, we talk about the three main Rhone varietals, which are Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. Okay,
I thought it's Mourvèdre.
Mourvèdre.
The
En français,
French
Mourvèdre.
swallow all their words.
Mourvèdre.
So,
Mourvèdre. Can
also-
I hear you say Mourvèdre?
Mourvèdre.
very good,
Very
excellent.
good.
You got to, it's a throat. Okay.
Mourvèdre.
In white wines, the Rhone white wines, the three main varietals are Marsanne, Roussanne, and Viognier, which you're familiar with.
Yes.
Most people now are familiar with Viognier because it's become very popular
Very
in
popular.
California
It's very
and here
delicious.
as well. Yeah.
Sam
One of my
Pillsbury.
favorites.
A lot of
And
Viognier.
these are all pretty aromatic grapes. So,
Wait, is that correct? That Sam Pillsbury does Viognier?
of course.
Yeah.
So Marsanne and Roussanne are the white varietals. I love these grape varietals. I've had some from France, and they're really popular and do really well in California and here in Arizona. Yeah.
Chet's here.
Excellent.
Yay!
Where?
All right, bring him on.
You sit here the whole time, Chet? Hiding under the
Let's
table.
put Chet
Oh!
over there.
He is hard to hide.
No,
now.
no, stay.
Yeah. So anyway, this is mostly.
We love it when
it's-
Chet's late because we like to make fun of him.
Yeah.
And he's not in
So
the room,
this
so I
is
can do that.
40% Marsanne, 40% Roussanne, and 20% Viognier. So all three are represented.
Okay,
here.
let's see if
And-
somebody can repeat that. Repeat those three varietals.
I knew Viognier.
Okay.
Marsanne, Marsanne.
Okay, I'm testing our memory. Marsanne.
Roussanne, Roussanne.
Marsanne, Roussanne, and Viognier.
Yeah, three
Okay.
main white
That's
grapes.
business.
So
Now, I like when we go through what we actually taste. I know sometimes you get annoyed when I want
not
to
annoyed.
talk about what I taste.
What, do I look annoyed?
I'm
Please.
tasting vanilla. I'm tasting honeysuckle.
You always taste vanilla. You taste anything. Oh, vanilla, honeysuckle.
I've never said honeysuckle before.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Check the tape.
We got the recordings.
We got the recording.
I taste
Well,
watermelon.
let's go over this.
I
First,
taste
what do
watermelon.
you smell first?
I'm trying a little
You,
bit
you
more.
swirl,
Yeah, I
right?
need- I
you,
need
s-
more too.
you swirl, sniff,
Sniff. I thought it's sniff.
Sniff.
Swirl.
Swirl.
Sniff.
No.
You smell
You
it.
smell it. It's sniffing. That's
And then
for the aroma.
Wait, do we swirl first? No, we swirl
No,
first.
you swirl.
Swirl
Swirl
First,
first.
actually,
because that
first,
gets you
first,
the
actually, you
aromatic.
see. You look at the color.
and
You see.
Show us what you do. Here, little tiny bit. Tiny. Little tiny bit. Okay.
You swirl.
Show us what you do.
You sniff.
Swirl.
You get the aromatics from sniffing because aromatics give you
goodness.
the first
It's heavenly.
indication of what the wine's going to taste like.
Wow. Okay, so swirl.
Yeah, and this is very aromatic.
It's got a sweet
that,
nose.
It's
And
got
then you
that kind
taste.
of floral.
Sip.
Mhm.
You know,
Very
it's
sweet.
like smelling flowers.
I think that's where you're getting that honeysuckle because it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got
Yeah,
a
see?
No, I
really
agree.
nice,
No, I agree.
sweet.
It is honeysuckle.
See?
That's very.
Thank you. Does it say it on the back there? And
No.
I did not read it.
No,
if
it
it says it.
doesn't say anything about what it
Okay,
tastes
so
like.
so it is honeysuckle. So I'm correct.
Well, it's
You've
not a
never said
matter.
I've
There's
been
no
correct.
right or wrong when you're smelling
You
and
taste what you
tasting a
taste.
wine. What your impression of that wine is may not be the same as the person sitting next to you.
They
So
may
there is
smell
no right or
different
wrong.
things.
But
It's
whatever
a
I
totally
taste is what I taste.
subjective experience.
Yeah, so that's what
Well,
you taste.
here's the
It's not
thing.
what
It
everybody
may
else
be
tastes.
common
Mhm.
for people to recognize people. You might say, and people say, "Oh yeah, I get that. Oh yeah."
Okay, I also taste
Power of suggestion, you know.
apple.
Exactly.
Apple.
I taste a
Okay.
little apple.
I get that.
Do you taste the apple?
I get that in
Yeah,
the,
you taste
in
the
the,
apple.
in the
Apple
mid
is
to
tree
front
fruit.
palate. Mhm.
As opposed to peach or apricot, which would be stone fruit.
Right,
'cause that's,
right.
You know, but yeah.
Well, here we are. We all get to bust Chet for being. Let's see, how late is he? 14 minutes
Let's
late.
welcome him and show him a
Welcome.
good time
Hi,
instead.
Chad.
I learned from your behavior last week.
No,
We love
Do
you.
as
We're
the
here.
host does.
Okay, that's true. I was late last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chet needs a glass because that was Owen's little sipper.
Okay.
That's Owen's.
Here you go, Owen. Here we go.
Owen. His last name is Bowen, and
Bowen.
he's 25. So yeah.
Excellent.
Anyway, Owen Bowen. Okay, and then we need a glass for.
We're good. We're
good.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it gathered.
So
think
how was
you
your
get-
day so far, Chet?
It was pretty good. A little bit stressful though because my dog Puka has
Oh, that's right.
sickness, but
I forgot about that.
she
Yeah.
seems to be getting better though.
Here,
So.
here, here.
Well, that's good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's especially tough because they can't talk and tell you what's wrong or what
Mm-hmm.
they did or, you know.
But guess what? We got Alice and Cheryl Cooper's vet, and he's so
Oh,
sweet.
that's very
I'm not
nice.
saying his name on the radio because
Mhm.
I could barely get in. I had to have people make phone calls to get me in, and we're in. And he doesn't he love the dog?
Oh yeah.
He's so
a
cute
good
because
vet, for
you know
sure.
she's
Sounds
not
like it. Yeah.
she's not
From what
supposed to
I've
jump
heard.
on
You can
anybody.
tell when somebody cares about their job.
Yeah.
Totally,
Mhm.
yeah, he does.
And he
yeah.
seems to be open like every day, weekends. I mean, Sundays,
cares,
right?
right.
He cares. He
Yeah,
cares.
that's
he cares.
amazing.
It's
All right,
amazing.
Chet. This is completely blind for you.
Okay.
Take a swig of water. Then what do we say? We have to swirl. No, see, swirl, sip,
See,
And-
See,
swirl,
sniff,
sniff,
sniff.
and then sip.
and then
So
sip.
we added
And then
C
spit.
to Sam.
Yeah, just to so you look and you take a look at the color.
You see,
Right, you see. Then you swirl,
then you swirl,
and then you sniff,
You sniff.
and then you,
and tell us what you
Sniff.
smell. What do you smell? Is there anything that's like coming out
what's
to
the
you?
aroma? Wait, what's the
Don't
nose?
don't get yeah. That's
But
the
we,
nose.
we don't say smell. I want these boys to impress a woman.
It's like
Impress a
acid
date.
on the nose. It has like a pungent, like
Okay, yeah, yeah.
punch to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It
But
definitely
we
has
call
a
it
little.
nose. We don't call it smell. We say you never say
That's
it you're
good.
smelling a wine.
Holy
It's
shit,
what's
is
the
that
nose?
good.
Tart. I guess tart would be the better word.
Okay.
A little tart.
Really? I smell sweet cherry.
Cherry?
Yes.
No.
He's going through every
Okay.
fruit.
Okay, that's fine.
Honeysuckle, apple, cherry.
There is no wrong.
Yeah.
There is no wrong. There is no right. So what do you?
I think the apple might be good.
Okay, good. We had said that before you got here.
And a little bit of licorice.
I'll smell
Oh
that.
yeah, what flavor?
Red licorice.
Red licorice. It's a white wine.
I smell it.
It really is delicious.
I mean, I smell the nose. The nose
the
has the
nose.
licorice. The nose, and it's just a wow.
It is a wow wine.
It's a wow. It's
It
a
is.
luscious. It's
It's got a good mouthfeel.
it's
kinda like-
perfection.
Got a little bit thicker mouthfeel.
I think this is definitely date
Than
worthy
most
for you,
whites.
Chet. Would you bring this for a first date?
I didn't even taste it yet. I was still sniffing.
Oh, he hasn't sipped it yet.
Yeah.
All right, go
Okay.
for it.
Okay.
No, I like this wine
Moment of
very
truth.
much.
I love
it's
it.
only 12.5 alcohol.
And what's the cost? What is the
I
retail?
don't remember. It's
Yeah, I like it.
25 or
It has
something
a.
like that.
Around 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a kind of the tart taste that matches the nose. I like it though.
Okay, so let's ask Richard, the wine expert, the wino, professional wino. What is the term, the correct terminology if something tastes tart? Isn't that tannins?
No.
It's strong. Okay, what's the word?
No. Tannin is it's acidic. You're tasting the acid. There's different kinds of acid. You know, there's malic acid,
Mm-hmm.
which is, think of apple. There's that kind of tartness. Tannic acid, tannin is an acid.
Mhm.
And that's what gives you, but tannin dries your palate. You know, you get that dry sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's actually
So tannins gives you a dry feeling,
physical sensation in the mouth that dries out the mouth.
and the
just like drinking
tartness is
tea,
acidic.
black tea, huh?
So wait, okay, so
But it
you're,
is an acid, tannic acid.
Mhm.
okay,
They also use it, you know, in tanning leather.
okay, okay. Because I've used that where when I say I feel it's acidity is strong or the tannins, I use the word tannins and people have said it's correct.
Well, yes, you're going to.
Is it correct or not?
You're going. Tannin is
Correct
a correct
me.
term to describing a red wine in particular.
That when I taste that tartness,
Well, it's not strictly speaking tart. You have to differentiate between the tart flavor of a wine, the tart
Mhm.
sensation on your tongue
Mhm.
that activates the salivary glands,
mm-hmm.
and tannin, which basically is a physical sensation. When a wine is tannic, and also tannin is a wonderful preservative. Wines that are highly tannic get a little softer every year, but they last longer.
Mhm.
So highly tannic wines.
Can you look up the definition, Owen?
It's
So
that
we-
again, but it's
verbatim what
about
it says?
balance.
Tannin.
Everything in wine
Tannin.
is about balance between
Mhm.
fruit, acid, alcohol, tannin. These are the things that make a balanced wine.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so if you
I find
taste,
this is very balanced. Would
yeah,
that be a correct word?
absolutely. This is why I like
Very
I
this
would, I would
wine.
agree. This is
Balanced.
definitely
I like
a
this
very
wine.
balanced wine. It would be
Yeah, and
really
there's
good.
no noticeable flaws on the nose or
Mhm.
on the palate,
No,
and it's got a lovely finish, and
it doesn't have a flat finish.
It doesn't leave you flat.
I'll
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No. No.
We're not saying names and don't go into that. But
I'm not
somebody
going
said
in.
a
It does
certain
not
wine
leave you
was
flat.
flat at the end, and I was like,
I'm
we-
flat. I drank this wine. Next thing I knew, I was flat on my back.
Those are my favorite kind of wines.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
kidding. Just kidding.
That's a different.
That's more whiskey for me, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different show.
No, exactly. When I taste the wine, I'm looking. I'm really not looking for. Of course, I enjoy the flavors,
Mhm.
the aromas and flavors, but I'm looking for, how the mouth feel, the texture,
Mhm.
the tension between.
what's the texture you would use for this one?
Well, hold on. It's creamy.
Mhm.
Oh yes, it is. I would find it. Yes, I would say that would
Definitely
be a good word.
creamy. It definitely seems to have a heavier mouthfeel than most whites.
Yeah, it's not a light wine. It's
Mhm.
medium body, just like reds can be light, medium, heavy. White
Okay, so
wines
that's
too.
another way to describe the wine. It's medium
It's got
body.
some body.
It's not light body. It's medium body. Okay,
Yeah,
what
I would
what's,
agree with that
All
as
right,
well.
so
Okay, have him come to the
It's
the
got
mic.
some body.
Come on.
tannins.
Oh, get to the. We want you on the camera. Come on,
Tannins refer to the dryness and bitterness of wine.
Yes.
Okay. Just like
So
you
bitterness of wine. So
Yeah.
so then I would what Chet was saying with the tartness, I would use that word tannins.
No.
Okay, all right.
Said. Yeah. Yeah.
Not in
Okay,
a white wine.
Okay,
White wines don't have. Tannins come from the skins.
okay.
White wines are not
Now
fermented with the skin.
there are some white wines that are fermented on the skin.
Well, guess what?
Yes.
That's our next one.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Let's get to the
So
next one because we have 3 more wines to taste.
Okay, yeah, we tried the Laramita a couple weeks ago. I was about to say this tastes very familiar.
Well, different grapes though.
Okay, interesting.
That was the trio, and this is another.
So what was the other one we tried then?
Was the I forget the blend of that, but it had Malvasia Bianca and a couple of and
Okay,
Yes, yes,
that's
it
right.
was slightly
Viognier,
different. Yes.
This
So
didn't
was
have the
that-
Marsan Roussan.
Did we try that with Christina Beretta?
No, we tried it with Zoya. I
Oh,
went
that's right.
back
Okay,
to
okay.
Scottsdale Wine Collective and got all these wines
okay.
today.
Scottsdale Wine Collective.
Oh, now
okay.
here's the bill.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like
So we'll know how much
Wineaux.
this thing
The
is.
other bottle from them was phenomenal as well. So.
Let me see that.
It-
Okay, so you can
yeah,
tell.
so far
There we
both
go.
are really good and hot. See, now
Okay,
I'm a huge
so
fan of the Viognier.
the Laramida
and so I'm
is
wondering if that's the
$27
similarity
retail.
that you're tasting.
Okay, so the wine we were
Yeah,
just drinking
20%.
at the Scottsdale Wine Collective that's $27.
The Wine Collective of Scottsdale, which
That,
has
that
mostly.
wine's worth $27.
Yes.
I totally
For sure.
agree.
I would
totally
agree. And I think this drink's equivalent or better than any California Chardonnay you can drink. I think this is just outstanding.
It's very different from a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not very
But
comparable.
like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I would say it would be comparable to like a California Viognier.
Well, it's got Viognier in it.
Right, exactly. But I
Well,
mean, it's
But
comparable.
for
as
me
far as,
though, it's kind of creamy like a Chardonnay,
Well,
and
depending.
it's medium body like a Chardonnay. But
a
it's
Chardonnay can present in so many different styles.
That's
but this
true.
but it's more summery for the sexy summer sippers.
Sexy summer sippers. You
It's
forget
called
your-
sexy when you sound like that.
And I see you wearing those sexy summer slippers. Oh yeah.
All right, wine number 2. What are we drinking?
Okay, number
I'm ready
2.
for it. Everybody,
Now,
bottoms up.
this is one of my favorite newer wineries, and I've mentioned it to you before. This is from Wineaux Stash,
Oh, and you might need this.
and they're down in Elgin, the Sonoya Elgin area, which, as you may recall, is the first area where the contemporary wine industry started back in the 80s.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is the first one to get an AVA, an American Viticultural Area
Oh, really?
official from the federal
Okay.
government.
Really?
We have 3 now:
Mhm.
Elgin, Sonoya Elgin, Wilcox, and Verde Valley. Okay, so
Okay,
this
let's
is
repeat it back. What did he say?
Verde Valley, Elgin, Sonoyta, and Wilcox.
Got
are the
it.
3 AVAs that are here in
Yeah,
Arizona.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there we go.
So this is a
We'll have
woman.
quizzes.
This is a woman-owned winery.
Oh,
And it's I've known this woman, Brooke. Her name is Brooke Laurier's maiden name, and her last name is Ide. Her husband's name is Ide, IDE.
Mhm.
And I met her years ago, one fine morning when I was staying at Sam's, right?
oh, Sam Pillsbury, one
And
of our
for
best friends
Harvest
here.
Festival, I get up early
love
in the
his wine.
morning to walk down the road to pick grapes
Mhm.
at a vineyard that was right down the road from Sam's and down to Wilcox.
Sam Pillsbury, our
Yeah,
favorite,
yeah,
one of our
down
favorite
to
wines
Wilcox.
in the world.
And and that's how she was picking grapes.
Oh,
Now she also then
let's try it.
attended. Yeah, go ahead and open that and pour it out. She also attended the School of Viticulture and Enology at Yavapai College, which we are graced to have here in Arizona. The very few winemaking schools in the country.
Right.
Of course, the most notable one is UC Davis. But I'm telling you, this 2-year program at Yavapai College is turning out very good winemakers, because Michael Pierce, who does the instruction.
Take a picture.
What?
I'm gonna take a picture of the bottle.
perfect.
Take a picture. Yeah.
what's this one called again?
It's called
What's it
Proper.
called?
the Proper, and this is
It's called the Proper?
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
This is, but let me tell you a little bit about Brooke. So she went
Okay.
through the program.
Okay.
Then she did, she worked at the wine collect. Well, what do you call it? It was the custom crush facility that Maynard started. Maynard,
Oh, okay.
right? And then she
James
started.
Keenan Maynard
Yeah,
from Tool.
Maynard James Keenan. Yeah.
And he has the winery Merkin and Caduceus.
Yeah, and he
Right.
started this co-op, and
To help other
for
winemakers.
Yeah, so people would go through the
Very
program.
generous human being.
Then they would go to the co-op where all the equipment was, and they would be there for a couple of years making wine under his label, and then they'd go off and start their own wineries.
Right.
This is what exactly Brooke did, and several other people I know. So
Ironically,
it's a
Saturday
great
daytime,
process.
I had lunch at Merkin Vineyards tasting room.
Out in Scottsdale?
And the delightful young lad, Marcus,
Mhm.
he's just a cool guy, waited on me, and we had just some great food and a glass of wine. Yeah.
Okay, this one is my favorite so far.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
really?
Proper.
I haven't
So,
even sipped it or
give it a
sniffed
little-
yet.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
First
So
of all, look
it-
at the
it
color. Do you
looks
notice
very
anything
different.
about the color?
Yeah, what do you notice about the color, Kinga?
I noticed the color
Compared to
is kind of murky.
Well, it's because it's unfiltered.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I can
But
see.
also,
Murky.
this is, you hold on to the light, it's a
Wow.
little bit, has a little bit more pigment, a little
Apricot.
bit more color.
a little bit apricot-y. Mhm.
Now, you understand that
See.
that red wine grapes look different because they have a dark color, okay?
Mhm.
White wine grapes look very light. They're kind of a light green. There's not much pigment.
Right.
However, and the difference between the way the two are fermented is white, generally speaking, white grapes are brought in, they're put right into the press, and the juice is fermented.
Right.
Red grapes, they're brought in, they're crushed, and the juice is fermented in contact with the skins and pulp and seeds and sometimes stems as well. Now, what would happen if you were to make a white wine in the same process as you make a red wine? So that comes in, crushed, put in it, and fermented in contact with the skins, etc., just like you make a red wine. That's what an orange wine is. And this is an example of an orange wine. So these were.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad?
Aren't you glad?
Aren't you glad we're drinking proper?
Aren't you glad I asked?
Aren't you glad I'm so
Yeah.
proper?
Yeah. So these were had contact during fermentation for 2 weeks. So there's not a lot of pigment there, but you do pick up. Certain grapes have a little bit more pigment, but what it does is adds body. That process of being fermented and adds body to the wine. Okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely
this-
adds more to the
this- where's
mouthfeel
one?
for
So
sure.
can I say that if you drink it properly,
Yes.
if you drink properly,
Proper.
it has such a pungent,
Now,
delicious.
what do you think the grape is?
Okay.
You know this grape.
Mm.
You've had it many times.
I already saw, so I'm not gonna cheat
Okay.
the test.
What do you think the grape is?
What does it rhyme with? Wait here.
I don't know. It could
Very
be
you're
Sauv
very familiar.
Blanc, it could
It's
be
very familiar with
Chardonnay.
it. We've had it many times. It does really well in Arizona. It's not a commonly known grape, and it is
Is it
Albarino.
Spanish grape?
Mm.
It starts with an M.
it's Italian grape. M.
Mm.
The initials are MB. 2 words.
I
Come
got
on.
nothing.
You're in the wine business.
I know.
All right, give it to him.
Malvasia
Richard.
Bianca.
Ah.
Is a Malvasia Bianca. Okay, yeah, and you know that this has
That is-
become
That's so easy.
kind of our flagship white grape in Arizona.
Just 'cause it
Malvasia
loves
Bianca.
the heat. Isn't it hot
Well-
Italian? Is it hot Spanish?
It's from northern Italy, actually originally from Greece.
Say it again,
But
Malvasia
this is what we call.
Bianca.
This is one of the aromatic grapes, very
Stop
aromatic.
making me look bad, King.
Oh, and what's
Oh
it
my
called?
God! Talk about honeysuckle. Whoo, honeysuckle
Oh,
rose.
oh,
It's
wait.
honeysuckle and
Well,
rose.
Okay,
it also
it's
it
honeysuckle.
reminds me of some really dry
Oh my God.
meat. I love mead, and this.
Oh, yeah.
The with that honey, it's got that real strong honey
Yeah, it
forward,
is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
see what it says.
when I smell
but it
this,
doesn't taste like
to
it.
me the aroma is honeysuckle rose. Literally, that rose petal.
Honeysuckle. See, I understand where you're going with the rose. I totally get the
Yeah.
honeysuckle. I get some, like you were saying, apricot.
I'm melting.
Kinga, you said earlier.
I taste
definitely
apricot.
I
See?
definitely get the apricot.
Totally
yeah, well,
apricot.
that's the stone.
Oh my gosh.
That's
But I
typical
smell the
for-
rose. I get the
that's
rose
And-
typical
and
for
peach
this,
pie.
yeah.
I taste peach pie.
Ooh,
Peach pie.
Not cobbler.
No,
Pie.
peach pie.
Thank you.
I taste peach pie.
Would you bake me a peach pie?
No, just drink some
Okay.
proper. Okay,
Proper
so
thing to do.
so I think
Gorgeous though.
these two over here. Would you guys like to taste? This is very distinctive. It's just
It
delicious.
is very different.
Driving.
Do you want to hand me that?
A little
No.
driving.
Oh,
You're
you're-
good. Okay,
you're-
okay, okay.
He's driving.
There we go. Yeah. So
A good test of our DD Owen Bowen.
Mhm.
That's right.
Again, lots
What,
of
kind of, what are you
acidity.
trying to get him to do?
Lots of
Well, I-
acidity,
no, I just
right?
Hey, yo, here's a crack pipe. Now drive us
No,
home.
no, I just thought he
Please.
could. I just thought Owen Bowen could leave the car and we would all Uber. But that's good. He wants to drive. So that's
Uber,
good.
Uber, with Uber.
Mr. Bowen, thank you.
Hey, let's get one of those. Let's get one of those cars that there's no driver drives themselves.
Oh, the Wineaux.
self-driving.
Waymo.
Waymo.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I have some
gosh.
friends that are in the Waymo universe because it's
Really?
only it's like Tempe and kind of downtown
It's-
Phoenix,
I-
and that's
yeah,
about
I
it.
see them all over the place here.
They only
Phoenix.
go about well,
Yeah.
they only go up to like Indian school. We're a little bit north of that. I am anxiously waiting. They love it.
No, I've seen them north of Indian School.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I have not seen him yet. Northam Indian School.
I don't
Anyway,
know, I'll continue to fight Skynet
Against
against the robots.
You don't like the robot cars? I think they're cool.
It's cool, but anything that's run by software can be jeopardized by a virus or a malfunction. So still
Absolutely.
putting
And so can
ton of
humans.
power.
Humans can get a virus and malfunction too.
True, but then you're at least dying by your own
the
mistake.
acidity.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the car,
You see how-
Okay,
you see
back to
how-
the wine.
driverless vehicles are
You see
so
how
much
this
more safe
activates
than-
your salivary glands?
Oh,
It
yeah.
does. Okay.
Right?
What do we call that? Richard Betts?
What do you call it?
Richard Betts, what's
That's
that?
acidity. It activates your salivary glands. That's the perfect thing when you're eating food. This is why great food wines have acidity.
So you're saying this is a great food wine?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Have this.
What would you pair it
Have
with?
this with some spicy Asian, Thai Asian, anything like that.
So Thai food.
Japanese, yeah, yeah.
What about Mexican food?
Okay.
I'm about to say, were you talking about food? You just said.
Yeah, yeah. But this is and you get that. Yeah, you've had other Malvasillas. You see the difference here than just the body of the wine, the texture of it.
Malvasia Bianca.
Bianca.
So I have a quick story to tell.
Yeah.
Based on what you said, I went into a local Mexican food restaurant, and the people who own it are just lovely and hilarious. And I walked in and I said, "Do you guys by any chance carry white wine?" And she goes, "No, we have tequila. It's much stronger."
Yeah. Well, it is. That's for sure. That's for sure.
You're like, I want to
80
remember
proof.
the night.
I know, right?
Well, here's another
She
interesting thing.
didn't want to mess with that
appreciate.
wine
Which one is this
BS. She's like, if you
Well,
want to drink,
you
you're going to
can't
drink
read?
tequila. Otherwise,
0 to
It says
100.
you
Venus
can
dash
go
the
over there.
pepper.
Okay, how much?
I respect
31.
that.
Okay, so this one is $31 at the Scottsdale Collective
Yeah.
Wines.
Now,
What do you call that place?
It's the Wine Collective of Scottsdale.
Wine Collective of Scottsdale. I would say Scottsdale Wine
That's
Collective. but
fine. We understand.
Which one is it? Scottsdale.
So
The
what
Wine
I
Collective of Scottsdale.
Wine
Now,
is for
here's another
wine stuff.
interesting thing that you'll be interested in because you've been down. Well, you haven't been down to Sam's Vineyard, have you ever?
I've never been.
I haven't done.
Down
I've
to
been up.
Wilcox.
I've been
You've never
up.
been down to Wilcox.
No.
Well,
Oh wait, I've been there with him to the tasting rooms.
the tasting room
I,
in Wilcox.
I briefly
the
worked
vineyard and
with Sam.
Okay.
I briefly worked for about 6 months. I worked with Sam, but we never went to Wilcox.
Well, then you haven't been to Wilcox, to where the winery and
I'm not
and
sure.
tasting
We
room.
were always driving. I feel like we were always on the road.
Well, you'd remember it's a 3.5-hour trip. down
I
to
might have been.
Wilcox.
I felt like
Anyway.
one day we were on the road for 10 hours.
This wine comes from the Rum Line Vineyard, right? It's like less than a mile away from Sam, right up the road. A
Okay.
really cool place. This is where they have they have what they call the cottages or something. These beautiful kind of Quonset huts that you stay in. And they've got the lavender fields there, and the Rum Line Vineyard is. They don't make wine; they just grow grapes. But the Rum Line Vineyard is considered one of the best vineyards in Wilcox. That's where this wine is. The grapes from this come from Rum Line Vineyard in Wilcox, but it's made at their winery in Elgin.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
All
thought
right.
you'd appreciate that. And
I do.
here's another interesting. So this is the 21 vintage, and after fermentation, it was aged in concrete egg from France.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, before bottling.
I've seen those
That's
before.
so
Those are
interesting.
super cool.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a winery.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but they have a collection of these vintage boats, and they also
Oh.
make wine. Yeah, it's
Where is this?
like near Crystal Lakes up in Northern California.
Northern Cal? Oh, okay.
It's just such a neat vineyard. I mean, they have this huge warehouse, and it has all these amazing boats from like the 50s and 40s,
Wow,
all like
I
these,
love that.
oh, you would love this place.
Like the
But
wood
they
and
have-
Chris Craft and stuff?
Yes, all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff. And they have like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they have the. You remember the boat that Dean Martin drove that turned into the wheels popped up and the propeller car?
I think
they
so.
have that car.
Oh my
Wow.
God, they act
Yeah,
the
they
same?
have that
Yeah.
car,
Oh, wow.
and it has a little propeller that comes out the back. It's just super cool. But
Wait,
all their
wait.
wines are fermented in those
Where is this?
in those eggs.
Miss-
It's near Clearwater Lake
Okay.
in Northern California. It's about an
This is
hour
ruining
drive
our-
from Geyserville.
Okay.
Up
Oh,
and
okay.
straight up a
You can
mountain.
smell the
So is
wine.
it close to where your winery?
Yeah, where our friends are. But it's straight up a mountain.
What's wrong with me? I can't think of the name of the wine.
Mercury wine.
Mercury
in Geyserville.
wine.
Mercury,
In Geyserville. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's right.
So I have a question to ask you, Richard.
Yes.
So this is I'm a huge fan of L'Orange wines. I
Yeah.
love when a white wine is fermented on the skins. I think it gives it a lot more body and
Yeah.
a lot more flavor.
You can
What I've
taste more
heard-
intricacies than grapes.
Absolutely. And what I've heard is that there's, I think it's called retinol, is what you find in the red grapes.
Resveratrol.
maybe.
Is Riveritol.
Riveritol, and
Wait,
that's
how do you
what,
pronounce
and
it?
that's in red
Reservatol?
wine.
Well, it comes from the skins.
How do
Right,
you
and that's
say
what
it?
I've heard that also is available in this
I
white
would think
wine.
that there is some resveratrol in the skins of
Resveratrol.
white wines and
Resveratrol.
white grapes as well. Not as much
Resveratrol.
as red because it's
Of course.
pigmented.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so now we have to go to wine number 3.
Number 3.
Because we have 2 more to taste.
Number
Wow, the
3.
proper was my favorite so
Excellent.
far.
I loved them
I
both.
love both.
Depending on
course.
what I'd be cooking.
I can't smell the wine anymore.
I don't know, it's a palate cleanser.
This wine smells like weed.
Let's crack the door open.
Here, let's get Richard a little air
There.
so he can smell the wine.
There, leave it open for a minute. There we go.
Drink that up so you
Okay,
pour
okay.
the-
So
That's-
bottoms up. What
Oh,
do you
yeah.
what do you guys
Thank you.
You can
smoking?
drink or
Just some delicious kush.
We could call this show Up and Smoke.
No,
Cheech and
the more
Chong's.
salacious summer sipper.
this is
That
salacious.
we're sniffing, swirling, and what was the other
Seriously,
thing?
that
Smoking.
really
Smoking.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. As a wine professional, I must protest. It really does interfere with your smell, the
It
aroma
does.
of the wine.
You're
So just
absolutely
saying.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, so now what are we tasting next?
So we're going to taste this lovely rosé,
Okay.
and you'll see that this rosé is not much darker than
It's
the
not.
orange wine we just had.
You're right.
But this is
Which-
good practice for if you're out in the field, someone lights up next to you, and you still
Out in
can
the field
taste.
and being in a small room are a little different.
He's true. Right there.
Oh, here, let me. Here we go.
That's true.
Beware, folks. The last 30 minutes could be a little crazy.
Uh-oh.
Will the sound be still?
Fasten your seatbelts.
Fasten
Still have a
your
little
seatbelts.
more to finish
Okay,
with
here we
that.
go. So
We can
okay.
cover it.
All right, so
Can I see that
so
bottle?
looking at this is actually much lighter than that
Oh,
first wine
interesting.
that you, the
you.
Larimar.
Then the proper.
It's much lighter.
It's a rosé, though.
Right. So normally, I mean, I've seen dark rosés, I've seen light
This
rosés.
Yeah.
is about as light as it gets. This is what they call onion skin.
Right. So now,
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
We're
now
learning the word
are there
onion
different
skin.
types of rosés? Because like
Yes.
I know that so from what my understanding, a lot of rosés have white flesh but a red skin, like Zinfandel. So Zinfandel, the flesh of Zinfandel grape is white, and then that's why you can get quote unquote white Zinfandel, and then you get the dark
The
deep
white
red
Zinfandel
Zinfandel.
is made just like a rosé. They discovered it by accident.
Hmm.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What's that story?
But the flesh of the if you peel open
The
a
flesh of
Zinfandel
any
grape,
red grape is not red. The color comes from the skins.
hmm
Right. So when you make a rosé, there's 3 ways you can make a rosé. One is you harvest the red grapes, you bring them in, you put them in a tank and let them macerate for a couple of
I love that word.
hours. Let's all
Macerate.
macerate, and I don't mean master.
so many
Yeah,
jokes, so little. time.
Anyway.
Hey, don't get salacious on us.
I'm going to get salacious now.
Please
I heard
don't
that
be
maceration,
salacious.
drinking macerated wine makes you blind. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the definition of macerate is.
So it's just it's
definition of
well,
macerate.
basically it's what you let the grapes sit in contact with the skins and the pulp and everything, and they just
Well, because I had a dessert the other day and they said the blueberries were macerated.
that's right.
They said the blueberries were
That's- that
macerated.
means
What does
that
macerate mean?
they've
Chet,
sat.
what does macerate mean?
Educate me.
Okay.
Well,
educate
it's
us.
like being what's the word?
Is it like letting it simmer?
No, it's
Letting
not
it
cooked.
stew?
It's not cooked. It's just sitting in its own juices.
So do they
basically.
add anything to it?
No.
In order to like
Okay,
pull
so you
out?
wash
No, 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 no,
blueberries.
no.
Okay,
Okay, you
Just
wash
sitting there.
blueberries or you
and
wash
and as
plums.
the longer it sits there, it's
Okay.
going to pick up a little color,
Mhm.
and then it's pressed immediately.
I'm confused. You take some blueberries, you wash them, and what do you do to them to macerate them?
Well, first you might
Okay,
uh,
you didn't say that.
Mash them up a little
crush
bit.
them,
Okay.
mash them up a little
okay.
bit. Yeah,
Okay. There we go.
yeah,
So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
do something to create
yeah.
bring
So,
out the juices. Okay.
yeah, so
you take
then
your plums
now,
and you macerate
now it's
them.
got
Okay.
now the wine has some skin contact for a period of
Okay.
time. Could be a couple of hours. This, how light it is, was macerated for a very short period of time.
I'm going to be using that word every day.
Okay.
Macerate.
Then the juice is separated and fermented. That's way number one. The other way is that they bring it in, and it's the red grapes, and they crush it just like any red grapes, and they put it in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And after a little while, they bleed off a certain amount of that wine, and that's the rosé, and then they separate it and ferment it, and that's called the sanguiné method. Bleeding, sanguiné.
Sanguiné.
Okay.
All right.
Sanguiné
I love
method.
What
learning
happens
this.
when you do that is the wine that's left in that tank now, the ratio between the juice and the pulp has changed, so it's going to concentrate that wine.
So will that wine now come out either red?
No, you put it in the tank, just like the red grapes are crushed. They're put in the tank.
Macerated. They're macerated.
Well, they're not macerated.
Oh.
That's the first way.
She just wants any reason to use that word.
I do.
now.
No,
I do.
That's the
true.
first
You
way.
unleash the
is they're
demon,
macerated,
Richard.
not fermented, before fermentation. Okay.
Okay.
And then they're separated and put it in a separate tank. This way, you're making just like a red wine, but after a couple of hours or a few hours, you bleed off a certain amount of wine.
What was that
and-
word called?
Sanguiné.
Sanguiné.
Bleeding,
Sanguiné.
you know,
Bleeding.
You bleed off a certain amount of wine, you put it in a separate tank, and that's the
Sanguiné.
rosé. Now it's taken on some color. The third way to make a rosé, and you can do this at home, folks. So I won't say don't do this at home, because you can. You take a little leftover red wine and a little leftover white wine, put a touch of red in there. What do you have? Rosé! Olé!
So
Yes!
funny you said that.
Yes.
Cheers
So,
to that.
Cheers.
So Mercury Wine,
Right?
one
Be
of
more
their
gentle with that.
rosés.
You don't want to break the glass.
There we go.
Yeah, please.
That
These
only
are
happened
expensive
once.
glasses.
One of
Don't
their
remind
me.
one
You
of
can
their
ruin the
rosés, they had a Chardonnay that was fermented on the skins, which was amazing.
Okay.
That was called the skins.
Yep.
And then they had their Cabernet Sauvignon is amazing. And so what he did was he did 75% of this on the skins Chardonnay and 25% of this Cabernet Sauvignon, and
Yeah.
it was one of the best.
Wait,
rosés I've
25%?
ever had.
Yeah, well,
And
guess what?
75%?
Guess
Yeah,
what?
75% of the white Chardonnay that he did on the skins.
Okay.
So it had a lot of flavor, a
Yeah.
lot of body, and then he did 25% of his top shelf Cabernet Sauvignon.
Olé.
And
Rosé.
it was this,
Rolling.
but it was a real
Olé,
dark
rosé.
Yeah.
rosé, but it had so much flavor, and it was his best-selling
You can see
white by
that, yeah.
far.
You know, we need to do
Well, guess what?
a show when he comes to town with Richard.
Yes.
Because they've never been on the show
Well,
together.
yes.
That would be fun.
Guess
that
what?
you would- yes,
Let
you
me
guys
tell you
would.
what
Yes.
grapes are in
Yeah.
this wine.
Yes.
It's 72% Grenache, 12% Tempranillo, both red grapes,
Okay.
and drum roll, 16% Malvasia Bianca.
No way.
So it's
Okay.
not unusual to have a white wine in the blend of a rosé.
Okay, I'm
in
going to
this
test you.
case.
What grapes did he just say? Grenache?
Don't test me.
Malvasia Bianca?
Are you getting testy?
Yes.
Don't make me pull this show over, Ava.
Malvasia Bianca.
I'm just trying to absorb all this amazing information.
I can
we're
tell
getting.
you had a long weekend.
Tempranillo.
I did.
I can
So
tell,
the
yeah.
point is
A good
that
weekend.
rosés can be made with white grapes in the mix in the blend as
So
well.
you're saying at home, if you feel like a rosé, and you have a little bit of red left, just
Why
mix it
not?
in with your white
Why
wine,
not?
and you make a rosé.
It's
Well,
just
This one
rosé.
is so refreshing.
Oh, it
All right,
is.
so
It is.
I think
Yeah.
we've talked about this
Little
before
bit.
because I know a lot of like in Napa and Sonoma, when it's a hot summer day and somebody wants a red, they put it in the refrigerator and it's delicious.
Well, that's right, and we're getting to that. Our next wine will.
This one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I jump ahead of you,
No,
Richard?
no,
I
not at all.
apologize.
How did you pronounce this one again?
Yeah, what's the name again?
I'm just having so much
Los
fun. This
Milik.
is so
This
good.
is
Los
such a great-
Milix. Milix. Now this
These
is
are-
Pavle Milik
Milik.
of
Milik.
of F&B restaurant fame.
Oh my goodness.
This is his
This-
new winery and tasting room down
Seriously?
in
I've heard so much about it.
Sonoyta.
Yes.
That is an architectural marvel.
Wow.
I mean, world class. You've never seen anything like this.
Can you
Okay.
give us like a
Beautiful building,
10-second description? Like
Exactly.
It's
Like-
indescribable. You have
Just-
these monoliths. These, I mean, it's incredible.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
You
Make
gotta
have
get
us feel like
good
we're there.
experience.
All right,
I haven't even been there
Is
yet.
it
I've
on
only
their,
seen
is it on their
pictures.
website? You've seen pictures
Yeah.
on their
Let's
website.
run
All
the
right, so I will
pictures.
check
What
out
do
the
you see?
website.
It's
Thank you.
amazing.
All right.
Give
This
us more
one
description.
could be my favorite.
Oh,
It's
really?
right next to the proper neck and neck.
Well, I have to say, Richard, I think these are three
Wow.
of the best wines that you've brought to us.
Ever.
I'm
Ever.
really enjoying
With an
all
exception
them.
of Sam Pillsbury.
No.
Sam Pillsbury is
I'm not.
in the
I'm
green
talking
bin.
about the outside wines that he's brought to us. Sam
Okay,
Pillsbury's in a whole different category.
Yeah, we love Sam Pillsbury.
I'm not.
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going to trash him. I'm just saying, like, These are outstanding.
Yes, yes,
Really
yes.
good.
I'm so glad that I like your palate.
Yes.
I like my palate.
Wow. I just said, Richard.
Well, some people have different palates.
They do,
Absolutely,
they
and
do.
that's what makes wine a subjective experience.
It so is.
Cheers
It's
to
so
that.
true. Well,
This
just think
is
about it. When people are
stunning.
dating, some people like to date
Don't
this
hit
kind of
him so
person or
hard.
that kind of person.
Like bumper
you know,
glasses over
you
here.
know, somebody likes, you know, like,
Dominic, try some rose.
We just know, Chet, that we're not going to buy weak wine glasses around Kinga. If you want a wine glass around Kinga, you better bring your best glass.
Yeah, we're gonna have to drink out of steel clubs.
Chalices.
Yeah,
Kinga was
really.
made for when the chalices.
Yeah.
Chalice of wine.
Stay
is that why they had
glass.
chalices?
Well, yeah, because they were strong and they could beat each
Chalices.
other. They were barbarians for crying out loud.
Flagon.
Flagoons, yes.
Lagoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we pronounce this one more time?
Los Milik.
Las
So,
Milik? What does that stand
Pavle,
for?
well,
Okay,
Milik's
wait,
his
10
last
minutes.
name.
10
so,
minutes.
yeah, Milik's is his last name.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Los Milik's the-
And is that German?
Is he
that-
single?
No,
is
that
he
is-
married?
single.
that
How
is-
old is he?
No, he's married with a lot of
Is he
kids.
hot? We really want to know, Rich. Is he hot?
He's
Oh, well,
married
Chet
with
missed this
several
part.
children.
He's
Chet-
married
Chet-
with
I
seven
heard it.
children.
No, no.
Unfortunately, I have
Kinga,
ears.
he's not hot. That's all you need to know. Keep going, Richard.
Wait, but Chet missed the part when you were gone, when you were late, that I said I either am going to buy a winery in the land and have my own wine, or I have to
So
date
good.
a vintner so we can name a wine called Kinga.
And
that's
Richard
gonna happen.
said it'd be way easier to date a vendor. I believe is what you said.
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah. Okay, let's move on to the last one.
So Sam Pillsbury,
Yeah.
he's single.
We're
Just
going to
kidding.
do something. Could be a little colder, but it's fine. We're going to go back to the first winery because I love Wineaux Stash wines, and this is their.
Vinos. Wait, hold on.
He's been talking about Wineaux Stash wines for so long.
That's the first wine we had.
I know, but what is the meaning of Vino Stash?
Exactly.
Well,
I must have missed
if you
that.
look at their label, there's a big mustache.
Oh my God, I love that.
So-
Oh,
Stash.
I'm sorry.
It's not
I was thinking like you have to
S-T-A-S-H.
stash it somewhere.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
was totally missing that. I
C-H-E,
apologize.
yeah.
I
How
totally
cool.
missed that.
Vino
Oh, a
Stash.
stash.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know the story.
But that's
offhand.
fun.
So anyway,
It is fun. Well,
So
the-
every-
the
no,
mustache
this
is
is
a
their
whole culture,
2020
man. They
Garnacha.
have meetings and everything.
Oh yeah.
so this
They
is a
do.
2020 Garnacha or Grenache.
Oh, that is one of my favorite Arizona.
And
But hold on,
grapes
but the
is
actual
Grenache.
wine is called the Painted Lady.
Yes.
That's cool too.
Oh,
There's
that
a
is
story
super cool.
behind that too. Now
The
look at the
painted
color of
lady.
that.
Oh,
Not
wow.
real dark, is it?
Wow. Okay.
Beautiful.
Oh, I have to finish this. Oh, wait.
Oh, and
Hold on.
Brooke says, Brooke says, drink this in the summer. Drink this cold. Drink it chilled.
Really?
Absolutely,
Drink it.
Wow, it's so
chill.
light.
like you would a rosé. Yeah.
So this, wait, so
All right, so this is a red wine, yet it
I wouldn't
kind of looks like a dark.
rosé.
Rosé.
I've seen
but-
rosés darker than this.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Wait a minute. This does not look
Yeah.
like a red wine.
Wow.
It's a Grenache. It's a light.
Yeah,
light-bodied
Grenache. I've seen Grenache this light.
Yep.
I've
I'm
never
with
seen
you.
it this light.
Yeah. So this makes it a perfect
Wow.
summer red, chilled sipper.
So let's see.
That
it.
is
What would you call the
really
color?
Summer
cool.
sippers.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't
Wow.
even tasted it yet.
And
but
this
Oh
has
wow.
this is
Wait,
also
Dominic needs to try it.
this is also from Rumline Vineyard,
Wow.
Pour that
that
in
wonderful
here. You gotta try a
vineyard.
little of this.
Now it's 2
Pour that-
years
pour
aged
that
in
in there.
neutral
Oh.
oak, neutral
It's a
barrels.
spit cup.
Yeah,
It's two,
take a
you
sip
can hear
Wait,
that.
guys.
Hold
2
on,
years
hold
in
on.
neutral barrels. Now here's something really interesting. This is 50% whole cluster fermentation.
What does that
Okay.
mean?
Well, I'm gonna
50%
tell you what it means.
whole cluster fermentation.
Most
You
red
gotta repeat it
wines-
so you learn it.
Most red wines, the grapes are crushed.
Crushed,
They're
crush.
destemmed,
destemmed.
put in the crusher, and then put in the tank
Crusher.
to ferment.
Okay.
There's no stems in there. But when you do whole cluster, that's the stems, everything. So this is 50% whole. Now what does that do? The stems add a lot of characteristics to the wine.
The body.
Body, flavor,
Ah, I'm learning.
texture, yeah.
Okay.
All
I'm
this
going to
stuff.
wine school, and
Wait.
you know what, Owen?
So
Let's do it
this is
together. Let's go to wine
50% whole
school.
cluster. Now
When I
there
have
are
my
some
winery,
wines that
you
are
can learn
100% whole cluster, like the Beaujolais are made
Oh, I
that
love
way.
Beaujolais. Oh, I love
Beaujolais.
Beaujolais.
Wait, so this is the
Well, give it
same
more like an
woman
earthy-
winemaker,
Yeah,
right? What
yeah,
was
yeah.
her name? Let's give
Brooke.
a shout out.
Brooke.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is delightful, isn't it?
It's incredible.
I mean, the
Wow.
nose. You look at that, and you're not expecting
The nose
that,
is
that
sensual. It's sensual.
So it is.
It's
Wait,
very
and then
sensual.
it says
Sensual.
on the bottle
Wow.
that they give back a portion of their
Yes,
wine
yes.
sales every year to a local Arizona charity.
Yep.
They
which
do?
is huge.
Yes.
This show's all about
Wait.
businesses
Thank
that
you
are
for
trying
pointing
to.
that out.
Yeah.
Thank
Wait,
you.
This
wait.
show's
can you
all
get
about-
her on, wait,
wow.
can
Yes.
you contact us with
I
her?
want her on the show sometime.
you.
It would be great.
So not
Okay.
only are they local, they're also woman owned, and they also give back to charity.
That's a triple.
That's a great business
Wow.
to support, and their wine is incredible too.
This is probably my favorite.
Win.
They're all my favorite, but this might be
looks like you were saying, Richard. This looks like it's a dark rosé. This is a red. The
Oh,
amount
wow,
of body
wow.
and the amount
Wow.
of
Shit.
flavor that
Okay.
That's
hits you.
delicious.
that is delicious. That is luscious.
love it.
That is
Do it real
balanced. That is perfect.
That's the worst.
Wow.
So I just love the story. This is a woman who I met years
Should have
ago.
sit down
You know,
before.
before she did the
But do you think this
classes.
is a summer sipper?
Absolutely.
It's more of a summer chugger.
Yeah. That's,
You're the only person that chugs
Okay,
wine.
I'm just
that's a
kidding.
different show. Wine chugging competitions.
That is
And that's going to be about
that is
a
highly
half-hour show at the
That is
longest.
highly offensive.
Just kidding.
Highly offensive.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Trying to be funny.
I know.
And I love the name of the
operative
bottle.
word being trying.
Right, try. Yes.
The Painted Lady.
Ah.
No, this,
Yeah, the painted
all of
lady.
these have been
Roasted.
outstanding. I mean, this one.
So I'm just so impressed with Brooks Wines, and I've known her for years. And you know, she went through the program, did the custom crut. You know, the
How old is this lady?
oh, she's got to be late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
just a delightful person. But what I'm so impressed with is just the level of commitment that this woman or anyone who wants to become a winemaker has had. You know, Greg Groneman with Alameda, he started as a home winemaker. You know,
Wow. He's just
Definitely kumquat on the nose.
yeah, a little kumquat. There you go.
Did you read that on the back of the bottle? Because I felt it too.
No.
No.
Wow.
You and your kumquats and honeysuckle. Oh my God. Hey, that's a good combination.
I taste pomegranate.
No, that's
I was talking about the
Pomegranate,
nose,
see?
but
See?
actually now that you said
I
it,
get
I
that.
smell pomegranate
Yeah.
on
See?
the nose.
See?
absolutely.
Pomegranate.
Power
I'm
to
So
okay.
we,
Yeah.
so we have about 3 minutes left.
Good.
I
Richard,
also-
if someone wants to pick your brain about
Well-
wine, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, and let's give the shout out to this winemaker, Wineaux Stash Winery, because they made the Painted Lady and the Proper, which were
Yeah, that's
two of our
Brooke.
favorites
Oh,
of the day.
seriously?
Brooke.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
the proper
two-
N?
We talked about her.
Yeah.
Brooke
Wow.
Lowry. So
Brooke Lowry. How do
I
we
am
spell?
an independent wine consultant. So if you want to have a really cool wine tasting in your home, get a bunch of people together, or say you want to start a small winery in Arizona and
Well,
need help,
I-
whatever.
I'm gonna
And
hire
so
you.
you
That's
can
me.
my email is RWINE Betts, BETTS, my last name, rwinebetts. As I've said before, wine is my middle name. Clever, eh?
I love it.
So rwinebets@aol.com, because I'm old school, baby.
Old school.
AOL, baby. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
repeat it. R wine
Does it
best.
still start with a?
No. But it did when I first got it. Yeah. Back in those days. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
And it
I
just
do
shows
too.
you
I
that
had AOL.
wine
I'm not ashamed.
is
to admit it.
anti-aging if you don't
This
overdo
has
it.
that tannin feel on your tongue, like you just licked the peach or something.
I don't find it at all tannic.
I find the tannin. I feel it
There's
doing
a touch
some.
of tannin, but
I feel it doing tannins on my tongue.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
good.
after I consume it, it has that feel on my tongue.
And you said that's what tannins are.
Mhm.
When every wine you say there's no tannins. Richard.
Well, we
compared
haven't
to
had full red.
you haven't had a tannin
Okay,
wine.
then let's do a
Yeah.
let's do a tannin
You
show.
want to have a tannin show?
We're gonna do a tannin
No,
show.
no.
Man, I'll
We're gonna
give you a
do- okay.
tannin. You
We
want
have to
tannin?
wear
You
some
want a
tannin.
I'll give you a tannin.
Wait, we
I'll
have
give
to
you a
come in with
tannin.
like fake tan
Make
layers.
your hair stand on.
That was funny. Chet's
All right, we are in the green.
Wait, how many minutes do we have
Green.
left?
We have
Come in,
about
Oh,
Like
hold on.
50
seconds.
We're here saving the planet.
one
show at a time. And
Wait,
this
drink
is
local Arizona wines. You're
Arizona
from
wine.
wherever you're from. Drink local.
drink
And
local.
don't forget,
Don't be a yokel. Drink
it is
local.
more fun.
Right?
Yes,
Like
it's
that?
more fun. And how do you say your Richard Betts again?
How do you say Richard Betts? Richard Betts.
How do people get a hold of you?
Thank you, Gracie.
rwinebets@aol.com.
Okay, and Deep Chetty Music And in the green room green, let us know if you'd be a great guest. If you want to drink wine, let us know.
Don't
Come
be a
join us.
yokel, drink local.
And
I like
especially if let us know if you'd be a candidate to drink tannins and be get tan and tannins with
So
us.
anyone that's brave enough for an all tannin
Now,
show.
you would love a tannin bed. You can go and get a tannin, a tannin
Ouch.
treatment.
Ouch.
I love it. In the green room, save the planet one show at a time.